Okay, Kapil, this is for you. What will make you happy?
Wow. It isn't easy, and I think it keeps on changing from time to time. But certainly, one thing I can say, if I can float while I stay grounded in some sense, it would be happy. Well, it's happiness, right? So float in the sense that I can imagine that my family and my friends are happy about something or the other. Everything is going smoothly with them, and at the same time, make sure that I'm in control of myself.
That's it.
I think so.
Do you make any efforts on the regular basis to remain happy or to achieve the happiness?
Um, yeah, I mean the aim always is to make sure that you remain physically fit and mentally agile and open to at least a few people, if not all, people who you get along with, and so on. But yeah, it's always an effort. It's always a struggle. It's a continuing struggle, I would imagine. You know.
चलो करती जाओ
Okay.
अच्छा हो गया.
थोड़ा सा एडिट हम आई विल एडिट दिस
I'm sure,
एनीवे
I'm sure.
Yeah.
बाद में लेकिन
Okay.
तुम क्वेश्चन करती जाओ
Okay. Now next we can
And
do
we'll also
Anjali.
see that.
Anjali.
सीरियस नहीं होना हैप्पीनेस की बात है
Seriously happy.
सीरियसली हैप्पी
Hey, दूर मत जाओ. I really hope
नहीं यू कीप ऑन आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस
Okay.
एंड
Okay, so Anjali, this is for you.
This one is curly.
ये क्या है? हवा के
चल
बिना?
चल जाएगा.
how happy you want
This
to
is
be
like one
Yeah.
gizmo house.
This is amazing.
चलो
Oh, is that Leon?
Yeah.
George.
we are all happy
Yes. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Okay.
So this is for you, Anjali. Do you think you can be happy all the time?
No, I cannot be happy all the time. Yes, the value of happiness is because I'm sad many times. So when I am able to pull myself out or pull some other people with me out of it, then I feel happier. So it's related to different stages.
So according to you, what are the ingredients to stay happy?
To stay active, for me, most important is to be loved. So if I'm able to make somebody else with me or in far off a little happier, I feel I belong. I have a role to finish, and it makes me happier. I think my happiness is dependent on other people. It is not just within me, it's around me.
That's an interesting perspective. Huh?
Hmm.
Debatable.
Okay.
Nice debatable. Okay. So now sit.
Oh.
Okay.
That was good. That was so
done
long.
I'm so happy it's done
I know, now I'm happy. No,
Next.
I am happy now.
Thank you. I thought I'll have to hold on till the end
I know.
with you. Thank you.
Yeah, we follow on questions. Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready now too.
So this is for you, Sid. Is staying happy all the time too utopian?
No, I don't think so. I think one could stay happy all the time, but the degree of happiness, I think, may vary. But I think it is possible to be happy all the time. That's being contented, with yourself, and as Kapil and Lena has also said, it seems like we're all coming to the common theme that making other people happy is what ultimately brings happiness to yourself also. But I think it's also self-reflecting that, with me, being happy all the time is difficult because I go through these swings where, for no obvious reason, I don't feel so happy, and then when I question myself, why am I not as happy as I was yesterday or last night or this morning? I can't explain it, but it's just something that happens. But I think being happy all the time is possible if you concentrate on looking within you to see how you can improve yourself, how you can behave or be with people around you, your family and your friends. And I sort of feed on the fact of I like being around people, I like being around family, and I didn't realize how much until you actually are around them, and then you see how you're gaining energy from everybody else. And I think if you can continue to do that, concentrate on that, I think you can stay happy more times than not.
Do you often reflect on your state of happiness on a daily basis?
I actually do, as I was just touching on my response before also, is that when I'm not so elated, when I'm not so happy, I think about why am I not happy? And then there's 1,000 reasons for why that's not the case. But then, the other times, all those conditions or the circumstances don't go away. But other times, you are feeling happier, more contented. And then I ask, everything is the same. Why do I feel, better about myself, better about the world, better about the environment? And I really can't explain. I can't explain it. But it's just something that's there. And then what I try to do is try to feed on those moments where I am in a more positive state than not, to see if I can replicate that even other times when I'm not feeling that way. Because as it is, except for something that may suddenly happen, something bad may happen, and those are just events that take place. But in terms of the state of mind, many of the circumstances stay constant, and you just have to make yourself deal with them better, and then find that happiness. So I think it all comes from within.
It's a good perspective, right? Okay, now the
फिर जेबा से कौन क्वेश्चन करेगा?
I'm the interviewer.
नहीं क्वेश्चन करेंगे.
हम करेंगे.
I'm the interviewer.
हम भी.
मैं तो co-worker हूँ.
I already have questions to ask.
Yes, we have.
Okay, do you think religion plays any role in inculcating happiness?
Actually, to me, religion is a very personal thing. I mean, the way religion is being portrayed upon these days is very different from the way I feel religion should be. It's something very personal. I mean, like you tend to realize yourself through religion, and the way you realize yourself through religion is through your own thoughts, and it can come through various teachings from various religions. So definitely, if you pick up the good stuff from and all religions have all good stuff only. It's only some people who portray something from a particular religion, which may not actually be the real fact. It makes it a little negative here and there, which whatever those religions may be. But then it's very personal. It's very personal to myself, and yes, religion can help me maybe de-stress myself. But then, okay, maybe de-stressing yourself may lead to happiness also. That could also be, another factor that can be considered. Sort of, yeah.
So if I ask you that on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you put your happiness at the moment?
Somewhere around 8 maybe.
Same question I ask you, Sid. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you put your happiness at this moment?
I would say probably around 7.
7. Any particular reason that you are giving this number 7?
Because I think of things that could make me happier.
Yeah.
And there are things, So
Would you like to share some of that?
no, those are personal.
Off the record.
Okay.
बाद में बात off camera.
Okay. And the same question to you, Kapil, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you like to put your happiness index?
As of now, I would say, I would think 8. I think it's our couch. But the other is, see, but the other is, that, look, my entire family is, Tanya is in Singapore, Shalini is in India, Shiv is in the US, I'm here. We are far apart from each other, we are speaking to each other, everything is going well. But then I also know it's a little, fragile, and as of now, everything is fine, so I'm happy. So it's 8.
So if we assimilate everything that people have been talking about, including what Leena said, what
Louder.
you are saying, I think this few marks that are missing, like not being 10, is some kind of a worry about the future, uncertainty in life, or we are a little bit scared of what is going to happen in the future. So at the moment, we are not living in the moment. In the moment, perhaps that could be one of the reasons that most of us have the problems of giving full marks for happiness.
You're right. You're right.
What do you
Yes.
think, Tina?
I would
Yeah,
agree with
I
you.
agree with
I would agree.
You know, a simple thing like I got a massage yesterday. And while you would think like you get a massage, we hadn't gotten a massage, you anticipate. But while I'm laying there, I'm thinking of 10 million things. And then, you pull yourself back and I say, okay, you're getting a massage. You should be focused on relaxing, close your eyes, say Gayatri Mantra, whatever makes you. And then,
Calm
yes,
down.
for like 2-3 minutes, maybe I might have done that or less than that, and back to that again. So, and then again, like a lot of self-reflection that, like live for the moment, enjoy or whatever the feeling is, but live for the moment and then move on. But don't keep looking back, don't keep looking. So it's wonderful to read those sayings and, like I was telling you, looking at Facebook and, all of these things, but to really remember and living those things every day, it's an effort that you have to do.
Yes.
I really have
What
to.
do you think, Anjali?
And I've seen activity and happiness are directly proportional. If I'm not active, I'm very unhappy with life. This morning I baked cakes, I'm happy. But if I exercise, I'm
You were
even-
waiting for us, so that's
We want you to be happy more often
Yes.
and for longer
That's an
periods of
easy
time.
way to be happy.
Yes.
when I exercise, that's really, at that time I really have to push myself, but that really permeates me and I've seen people around me.
That when you do exercise,
When
you
I
are
do
happy.
exercise and I take Cookie out for a walk, Cookie is happy, I'm happy, the Ate is happy, she's not having had to go.
I'm also happy when I get back to my office. So I don't have to listen to anything,
But I think the thing with happiness is that it really feeds on each other. Is that if you're around happy people or people that have more positive outlook on life, more positive outlook on self, then it kind of rubs off on you as well. Whereas if you're around people that are complaining and fussing and
So it's that positivity
Yeah.
and
Ah.
happiness.
right.
Contagious,
That's what
totally
it is.
contagious.
This is also, of course, it's right. The other is I just remember scene one, Merchant of Venice. Salanio and Salarino, two guys having a chat, and the chat is about why are you sad? That was the chat. And after a full 3 pages of conversation, they agreed, I am sad because I ain't happy. Very interesting. So now here, it isn't only that others around you have to be happy and communicate or somehow transmit something positive, you must also be willing and able to
Receive.
absorb that,
Right.
to receive that. So you will be happy if you are not sad. There we are.
And if you're up and running, doing anything,
Yeah.
it automatically increases your absorption power.
Remember that?
करती है?
अभी
It's
कितना
such an amazing exchange.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's such an amazing exchange, you know.
और नहीं है?
Via,
Let me see.
See the directors out
it,
there.
I don't know how it goes, you know, but
I mean,
it was
I've
such an
asked all the
amazing
questions in
Uh-huh.
a
There
different
is a
way.
play which
Based
is
on-
just 3 hours of this,
Huh.
waiting for Godot. Have you seen or heard about it, Samuel Beckett?
No.
There is hardly any conversation and it comes back to because we are waiting for Godot. And Godot is supposedly maybe God or happiness or whatever.
Whatever.
But they are in anticipation of waiting.
Of
Nobody
something.
is living the moment.
अच्छा एक मतलब where I am very interested is indicators of happiness and quality of life, because I think what we measure in ADB or any development institution is we measure poverty alleviation. Basically, our role is poverty alleviation, right? For poverty alleviation, we measure it by, say, number of kilometers of roads built, or say number of ACs in a house, or consumption of electricity in a house and things like that, or say number of iPhones that people have bought in a country. For me, those are not indicators of happiness. Those are not indicators of growth even. So probably for us, we need to define some of those indicators, and those indicators, once defined, should be monitored. So what do you think in life should be indicators of, say, either good quality of life or for happiness?
One of them is
I
health.
think contentment is very important. If you look at Bhutan, for example, or if you look at Philippines,
Yeah.
Philippines is definitely a developing country. And if you go around Philippines, you find so much of poverty, but you find people generally very happy over here.
Happy so much.
Again, and they're very content, So I think contentment is a very important factor for happiness.
Hmm.
And I think, as Sid was also saying, it's again a state of mind.
Hmm.
The happiness is a state of mind. You could be, in the most adverse circumstances, but then if your state of mind is such that you're okay, you're fine. There's no problem at all.
And it's like what you said about positivity. Like if you look at when you fell, yes, the pain, the inconvenience, and all of that. But then you looked at it a different way. That perspective that okay, it was my right hand, not my left. It could have been worse.
It happened on the
It's
last
something
day.
that's not permanent. It happened on the last day. So
Also,
it's just your
this-
perspective. Always that glass full or glass empty kind of thing. It really does matter.
Yeah, but then I had to force myself
Mhm.
to think in that way. It didn't come automatically. I looked at it that okay, it could have been worse, but then thank God it didn't happen. And it also made me understand some of the things that we take for granted. Some of the things that we take for granted, like both hands working or a healthy body that we take for granted. So when you do not have that, the problems that you face makes you realize and be thankful to God for all these, the things that we generally ignore. So I think health, the access to good health is one of the indicators for happiness. I didn't have to bother that how will I go to the doctor, how will I get treatment. I knew that wherever I am, I can get access to doctor, I can immediately get access to treatment. That gives you a lot of satisfaction and mentally you are free about those peace for these small mercies of life. So I think the health or access to health is one of the indicators which should be used for happiness.
Yeah. Actually, the other, okay.
Go ahead.
All right. The other issue is how we see things. I think the society has come to a stage that everyone is speaking about achieving something, and achievement means can I complete some assignment? Can I complete this golf game? Can I also watch a movie? And can I have also some very nice food? Can I do this, that, and have 30 things in a day, achieve 30 things in a day. Now, hey, slow down. Instead of 30 things, if you want to achieve only 3 things, believe me, it's a state of mind. But it will be easier to be happier. That's all.
So where we finally come down to, it's a state of mind.
Yeah. It's a state.
And also the contentment. Be
Be
content in
content, yeah.
things.
But tell me one thing. Today we are sitting over here, and each of us, we have our good earnings. We have done well in life. So this is what we are thinking. But as a institution, if we, or as anyone, say as Government of India, if we have to measure how do we improve the lives of so many millions who just do not have anything, will they be happy with what they earn? Do you think that we can make them, their state of mind in a way that we say, okay, no, it's all state of mind, and you be happy to say a slum dweller? Can we do that? So if we are able to do that, that's one thing. If we are unable to do that, then what are the things that we can do to make them happy?
I think part of this is there's 2 things we're talking about. One is basic level of subsistence. A person who doesn't have enough food to eat, it's difficult for that person
To be
to
happy.
be happy or be satisfied with themselves. But if we put that aside, even if you go to the slums, the people have they have enough to eat, but they're in the slums. But beyond that, I think just being there for them, speaking a kind word, to them or to each other. I mean, I was going to use that as our example, but since you're talking about the
Country.
infrastructure in the country and the people that have less, but it applies pretty across the board to everybody. The reason people are happy in Bhutan or in Philippines is nothing other than them having kind words for each other, having a kind feeling for each other. I think that's goes beyond takes it to the next level. So I mean, I think in terms of the rural areas and less developed areas, of course we have to provide infrastructure, we have to provide food and education and all that for them to get up to a certain level. But once those basic things are available to them, if an NGO person goes and spends an afternoon with them and talks about their experience or learns about what interests they have, I think that leaves an everlasting impression on them. And the reason I'm saying this because I never used to think about this before, but as a principle, as a personal self, sharing something personal now. Ever since I was little, I remember that when an adult, paid 2 seconds of attention to me alone, that would stay with me all the time. Because I would go touch the elder's feet and do all that. But if somebody said, "Beta, idhar aake baitho, kya kar rahe ho, kya khel rahe the?" I would remember that. And I try to do the same thing with everybody that I meet. Regardless of who it is, I try to provide some personal attention, some personal connection, try to say and do something that lets them put their guard down, because I always keep my guard down, as a matter of principle, as you all know. I mean, from the first time I met all of you, there's never been at least I don't think, there's been a pretense, So you just let yourself open, and then that allows the other person to also open up. Because, now I hear, my little nephews and nieces, they talk about, remember Chacha, when we were 4 years old, you did this? I have no idea. I don't remember any of this stuff. But they'll remember some experiences. That's because at that time, I took the time to be with them, pay attention to them, do something with them, for them, and they appreciated that. So I think that brought some level of happiness to them, and that has now, hopefully, been contributed to them becoming the person that they are. So I think that's how, we can also contribute both to bring happiness to ourselves and to bring happiness to others.
Okay. And but in terms of, say, if we have to work, for happiness of the society, and it depends on who are you working for, and different strata of society may have different, expectations of happiness, or perception of happiness and things like that.
I've seen it changes with age.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
No, for a little kid, just getting a toy makes them happy.
mm-hmm.
For my children, having a job, they are not bothered whether they have a home or whether they have citizenship. They have a job, they have good work today, they are happy. Whereas we are worrying that they don't have a house or they don't have a citizenship, how we must try and help them get that. So it changes with age.
Yeah.
With every age group, their happiness quotient is different. They're happy with just to be able to live happily today, go out and spend $20 with their friends, they're happy. But whereas for other people, spending some 2,000 is alone will make them happy.
That's
So
true.
it is more age related rather than geographically, and I've seen for especially the younger kids, it transcends all boundaries. They all have similar wants, be they from Philippines or from US or from India. They all revel in. For us, it seems simpler pleasures at the moment.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are more easily satisfied and more easily happy.
I think organization, like going back to your ADB, I think if going back to Sid's point, is that if you take the time within an organization like ADB and make some human connection with the people whose quality of life you want to better, whether whatever it is, growth. If you make that human connection, then I think the outcome of whatever you're trying to provide for them will be more of really what they need, based on what they have and what you can provide for them, and it will really be what they need, not a check on your box of these are the things. We built a school, we built a home, we built a this, but and we've done our job because we it's our checklist is complete. But whether they really needed that or not, and whether that's going to really, can they maintain it, can they sustain it? We never look at those things, I just used to hear him, and then, we're having IT systems in a village that has no electricity. Come on, let's get real. So that's what I think that you need to, if you don't have that human connection with whoever the people are in charge, with the people whose lives you're going to touch, you really never get to what is going to make them happy outside of the material things. I
It
think
has to match what
Yeah.
anybody needs.
Okay, so if I can say the same thing in ADB speak, ADB is very supply side oriented. We normally do not try to understand the context or what are genuinely the needs of the people and so on. That's a hassle. The other issue is about inequality. Okay? You go to any area, any country, any small town. Okay, people can be happy or unhappy, but the issue is like this now. If ADB does something in that area which somehow preferentially or seems to help a certain section of society over there, it makes the other guys unhappier.
Okay.
That's the problem. That is an issue. I don't think ADB sees it in that way often. And the other is that the same thing will change with time actually. As you said, internet connection. 30 years ago, believe me, even if they had a small kacha road, it would have been good. Today, ADB is talking of internet connections over there, again, without understanding the context or the situation over there. So the issue is, ADB's own thinking has advanced a little further. Of course it has. So in that sense, it seems like it's broadly in in the correct direction. But the point is, if it goes far ahead of the requirements over there, it hardly serves a purpose.
That's a good point.
But we
Shall-
should take Deepak's viewpoint also, because outside,
outside
the
of it.
private
Outside,
sector,
yeah.
Outside of it.
Yeah.
you people work under tremendous pressure, meeting targets and all that. So do you think that somewhere at the end of the day, do you feel that kind of happiness or contentment, whether it is professional contentment or personal contentment?
Definitely, get that feeling of satisfaction after you achieve a mission impossible, and we keep getting those mission impossibles every quarter. We have quarterly results to meet, so every time it's a mission impossible, and you meet that, you feel good about it, of course. But then they're again, very stress related. Somehow we need to get away from that. Your personal life and your professional life. There has to be some level of some demarcation between that. That okay, I'll take stress up to this point, and then in your personal life, you need to be let's say contented. You need to get your you need to have that level of happiness. But then without stress, you're not going to be able to achieve anything also. That you're going to that you will face, whether it is ADB or the private sector or any other organization. You have to set a mission impossible, and you have to meet it.
But I
Otherwise,
think, but haven't you also worked in an environment where stress is always there? But what I've seen when we've worked in environments where when you look at one department versus another, it's both very stressful. They're under different stresses, but it's how a leader or manager is managing that stress for that team versus how the other one is. And they're both accomplishing what they need to, but some are doing it because they all know that there's a target to meet and they all know that there's support for them to meet it. They're still at the end of the
Yeah.
day responsible and all of that. Whereas the other one, it's just the stress.
that's where the leadership qualities come in.
That's
Of course.
that's what it
That's where the
is,
leadership qualities come in. I
Because
think some organizations say, okay, we need to be a fun place to work. I think Google says
no,
that.
it's not about fun place to work.
Yeah, but fun
It's
place
about
Up to a point.
you have the
Keep
fun
output.
Yeah.
when you
Keep
don't
the
have the
output
stress.
separate.
It's a fun place to work,
Try
and
to
at the same
balance it
time,
out.
it's a fun place to work. At the same time, you need to do that mission impossible also.
Correct. I think there's a lot to say about happiness, and I think it depends on who are you talking with and under what circumstances the other person is and what is his life ambition and goal. But probably maybe one of the other days we will have a little bit more discussion on if we have to do some work for the society or for the country to, as a country, or as a civilization, everyone, well, you can't make everyone happy, but what are the indices or what are the indicators or how do you spread that happiness that people work, although you achieve your task, but without, getting stressed about it. So is that too utopian to think? I don't know. But maybe we can have a little bit more discussion someday later on
That's a good idea.
can we bring that change in the way we are developing right now. That's all going on. What I definitely know from my father's days is he used to come from office and he was always very happy. He also used to do a lot of work, and every one of them. But every evening they would really laugh and all that. Now I find from him and ours, that's gone for us. But they were very happy. So that change has happened in just about
Lesser
40,
money.
50 years, and they didn't have much money,
The worst thing that happened to us was the mobile phone.
Is
Because in those days, what you're talking of, let's say 60s, and I used to see my father coming back from work. The moment you start from office, you're disconnected from the office.